Hello everyone, you're going to love today's video because it's such a hot topic, as I know that a lot of you are really willing to know as much as possible about it. I'm talking about newborn sleep. We're going to discuss why babies sleep the way they do and how they sleep and what can you do to survive in the first months of life with them. Let's start. Hello future or current parents, if you have landed in this video because you want to try to understand why your baby doesn't sleep, you are in the right place. I can't guarantee that I'll be able to sort this issue, but you will definitely be able by the end of this video to understand a bit more about the pattern of your newborn baby. If you don't know me already, my name is Ilenia, I'm a midwife. I've been a midwife now for more than 7 years and I love helping women during their pregnancy, birth and postpartum journey. You know already that sleep is so important to be able to function during your life, during your daytime life. But for babies, not only that, having the right amount of sleep in the correct way will really help them to develop, to grow, and to promote their brain function. Having sleep disturbances at this very young age can really impact their growth and their brain development. So it's very important that a baby gets the right amount of sleep and in the right way. And what it is, in this video I'm referring to newborns and in general babies up to 3 months of life. In this time frame, a baby will sleep roughly anything between 14, 18, 20 hours even during the day or night, but they don't do it in the way and in the length that we would like to. Sleeping in a chunk of time as we do it now, that we sleep 6, 8, 10 hours during the night, is something that we learn as we grow. It's not an instinct that is given. Newborns are not born with day-night understanding. They just sleep whenever they want and however they want. They've been used to be in the mom's womb, where they usually sleep 20-40 minutes at a time and then they wake, and we can see that in the fetal heart monitoring sometimes, for example. And also they don't go into a deep sleep status for a long time. It's actually they have a short deep sleep and then they have a lighter sleep cycle that they do. So it's very important to be patient with them, and you cannot expect them to sleep 4-6 hours in a row straight away. I will be worried if they do, because they need to wake up, they need to feed, and they need to promote your milk supply, for example, by doing that. They will wake during the night, therefore I want them to do that. I will be worried if your baby sleeps through the night straight away. Some babies usually don't even get near to sleeping through the night until they're at least 3 months, and some babies take even a year before they're able to sleep through the night correctly. And it's really subjective and it's really based onto your newborn baby and into their personality. They will also change this pattern. You might find that you're getting so used to these babies sleeping in that way. Maybe they sleep from 8 p.m. to midnight and then they feed and then they sleep again from 1 to 4, and you're delighted with yourself because you're starting to get the hang of it, and then suddenly this schedule is completely all over the place again. This is because they go through growth spurt and they change the sleeping and the partner that they do. So you might find yourself that for another week or 10 days you have no idea what your baby is doing, and then after that you get into a little bit more predictable pattern again, and it's absolutely normal. So let me try to give you a few advice and let me answer to the questions that I receive every single day, especially when I work at night with you parents, and I know that you're tired. Both of you, you've done a long labor maybe, but regardless, you're just wrecked and tired and you want to sleep, and then you have this baby that wants to be fed and awake during the night, and how do you survive to that? The first 2 weeks, unfortunately, nature has done it in that way, are just about survival. Your baby has no idea what to do, they're just outside. You try to put them in the cot, in the crib, where they have this flat and cold surface that they don't know, they feel completely alone there. If they stretch their arms, they don't find anything, while they've been used to stay in the womb with you, dipped in 37 degrees waters, where they could hear constantly your heartbeat and your voice, and they love that. That's just what they know. So you cannot expect them to put them in the cot and have them to sleep there for 3 hours in a row. Some baby needs to be helped to sleep, some baby need to be nursed to go into sleep, and that's okay as well. Please don't put high expectation into these tiny human beings, because they have no clue how to do it and they have to learn how to sleep in the way we would like them to, but that takes time. And in the first 2 weeks they really want to feed every 2-3 maximum 4 hours, and that's good that they do that because they're trying to get your milk in and they're trying to establish your milk supply for the months to come. So please be patient with them and do feed them every time that they ask you for the breast. This also applies to babies that are formula fed. They cannot be left 6 hours and given a big amount of formula. They need to be given the right amount at the right time in order to promote their well-being and their future health life. So how can you survive these first 2 weeks, for example, where you and your baby are trying to know yourself and you're trying to just understand how to really get through the day and the night? Well, as I was saying before, every 2 to 4 hours you're expecting your baby to be awake. Usually they have short wake windows that are like 45, 60, maximum 90 minutes long. And in this wake window, your baby will want to be fed, to be cuddled, to be changed and cleaned, maybe to play a bit with them, and then go to sleep again in repeat. So when you're feeding your baby, try to let them have a long feed at the breast or with the bottle, for example. You need to keep them awake. A lot of babies tend to fall asleep while they nurse from the breast or from the teat, and this is because they are delighted with themselves, they're happy that their tummy is getting full, and they tend to get to sleep. And then they will just wake up in 30 minutes that they want more because their tummy has not been filled correctly. So maybe they feel just enough to get into a sleep and then they wake up again. So please make sure that your baby gets a long and complete feed, and you do that by keeping your baby awake when they are at the breast, for example, by tickling their ears, tickling their hands or the feet, blowing into their face. Do anything you can to keep them awake and in order to let them have a good and long feed. A good feed is anything between 15 to 40 minutes. And this will guarantee that they're full and satisfied and hopefully will sleep longer later. Also, the cycle of baby sleep is a little bit different. They have a short time where they sleep deeply, and then another time where their sleep is a bit lighter. For example, they move, they do some sounds, but they still are with their eyes closed and they're actually still sleeping. So try to leave them in that case and don't pick them up and or don't try to offer them a feed in that way, because usually it's not what they want. They're just going through their light phase of sleep. Why? You just have to be careful to recognize their early feeding cues that are maybe sticking their tongue out like that, or maybe putting their fist into their mouth and rooting for the breast. Those are, and maybe usually in this way, in these moments they're awake, but sometimes they can even have their eyes closed, depends. If you miss those early feeding cues, then we'll end up into the late feeding cues that are crying and being distressed. So if you're able to recognize the early feeding cues, then you're able to pick up your baby, change their nappies, feed them, play with them, and then put them back to sleep again. And it's very important that you do these in a very repetitive way for the first weeks of life. Also remember that crying for baby is the only way that they have to communicate with us. So sometimes it's not all about feeding. Sometimes they want to be cuddled, changed. Don't mistake the over-tiredness with late feeding cues, for example, because remember that the only way that a baby has to communicate with us is by crying. So maybe they're just trying to say other things to us. Another tip that I can give you is to try to let them associate the light with the awake phase and the dark with the sleeping phase. Babies don't have these rhythm from the beginning. They cannot change the night with the days, for example. They don't have that. They learn, and their circadian rhythm is not developed yet. But you can start to get them, for example, be aware that when it's time to feed, there is a bright environment around them. So open the windows, the curtains, or turn on the light at night, maybe your bed light when you're feeding at night, just so they can understand that when they feed, there is a bright environment around them. When it's time to sleep, there is a dark and calm environment. Babies usually don't care about daylight and sounds in the first weeks of life. They can sleep through a bright light or they can sleep through a very noisy environment, but that won't last forever, and they will need to be educated and taught how to sleep into the darkness and into a more quieter environment. You can use maybe sound machines. They love that usually. They're used to the sound of your heart in your womb, to the water moving around them, so they like those kind of calming and repetitive sounds. So it might be something that you can consider to do. Another thing that you can do to start to establish any type of routine is, for example, to have a nighttime routine made by maybe washing your baby, doing a bath, doing a massage after the bath, and massaging your baby with some baby cream, baby oil, do some cuddles, feed, and then sleep. If you repeat this routine every night, maybe your baby will start to like it and just to associate that when there is bath time, then there comes the cuddle time, and then the feeding time, and then it's time to sleep. Don't expect to get results straight away. It's just about learning and understanding and trying to respect each phase of their life. But it can be a way to introduce some sort of routine that it might be helpful for you later in life. I'm not a sleep trainer. I would not recommend to use one though, unless until your baby is 3 months old, because it's really these first months are just about figuring out and surviving and being fed and nourished appropriately. So please don't expect much from your baby. I know it's tough. I know you just given birth maybe, or you're just exhausted because you have other kids, or you have to go back to work or anything. Just try to take turns, please, with your partner or whoever can come and help you. Even during the day, if you can have a couple of hours to have a shower and a nap, it will really make you feel so much better and be able to cope with the night coming so much better. Please, if you think that is stressing you out so much and that is affecting your mental well-being, please seek for help, because you need to be able to sleep. Sleep is so important for the new parents to survive and to be able to care for your newborn baby. So please mind yourself as well and ask for help if you think that you're struggling. I know I've not covered everything about sleep and newborn sleep, but I hope that just gives you a bit of peace of mind that it just takes time, and the first weeks and months are gonna be a little bit hard, and your baby is not gonna sleep the way you want him to or her to be. It's all for this video. I hope that it was somehow helpful. I'll see you next video. Bye bye.